back into the game. Casters, take it away.
We are back onto Halcyon Fold, and straight away we almost see Mato going down. Doesn't quite die. It sounds like something you'd say when you've been like walking around in the dark in your bedroom and you like hit your big toe against something. You'd be like, oh no, Mato!
Oh my god.
Ugh,
There.
darn it.
The later it gets, the more memes you become. Just don't go full meme, man. You can never go full memer. But with the mining beginning, the action is most certainly going to ensue. As now that Glaive is back and ready to rock and rumble, it's going to be a big time for both of these teams. Again, this is a very important setup for both of these teams, because something that we really have to hit upon is that the winner of this match is going to be going against the winner of the TSM Ardent Awakening. So big task for them to have. So getting a good set of momentum now is most certainly going to be very important coming into this. And as we say that, Blair Kid almost going down there, barely going to survive, retreating back to his own turret.
Yeah, just about manages to get away towards his own turret. Even with 3 members of Liberation X there, they weren't able to take him down. And see, once again, that Taka firing himself up. Big Paws has got that level 6 spike, so going to be trying to get in with that X-Retsu whenever he can. Positioning himself down towards the bottom side. Black Kid's come across as well. And Big Paws is going to try and catch out Status Baked if he can in the jungle of Liberation X.
And we are seeing Inane go for that CP Scarf build. So nothing too far out of the standard. You know, you've got the early aggression in Blair Kid and Big Paws, so going for a little bit better of a scaling composition definitely going to help him on the rather. You're getting closer to that first big item spike from Big Paws. He does have the piercing spear and the 6-ins to kind of help him out and get himself through. So this is a big chance for them. Level 6 is coming up very soon for all of these players as well. So this is where the fights are going to start. You've got a 1/3 completion on the gold mine. So I look for that to be the first big objective that these teams decide to play themselves out on.
It's quite possible, and if Inane manages to keep himself off towards the backside of these fights, he will be downputting a lot of DPS. But as Rome talked about in the build-up to this, their big problem for Phoenix Rising is the fact they have quite a split idea within their team composition. You've got Big Paws, who wants to jump on that backline, wants to get really into the fight, and then you've got Inane, who really is about standing as far back as possible, sieging up and trying to get long-range damage off in these fights. And once again, Big Paws goes in aggressively, but there's 3 members of Phoenix Rising here. He's going to try and jump away. We'll get Afterburn back. Now he goes across with the Kaisen again. He's going to try and re-engage because Black is just around the corner. And look at the damage onto the original. He goes very low already. The flare gets popped and Big Paws jumps onto Status Baked. There comes the death from above, but it's not where Big Paws was, who tries to retreat away towards the rest of his team. Big Paws jumps back in very, very low. He gets the Vanguard and survives for now, but Status Baked should be able to take him out. It's 1 kill down for Liberation X, an exchange kill there for Phoenix Rising, and now the original trying to position himself on that Glaive to take down Inane. Inane will get that forward barrage procced onto him from Status Baked, but there's not a lot of energy left on that Sky, and the original will just try and retreat down towards this turret. Should be able to get himself away. The Spitfire doesn't land, so it's a 1-for-1 trade between Phoenix Rising and Liberation X.
And I don't know what it is that Big Paws is thinking. He's just wanting to go so aggressive, and that reflects in his item build. He built some early resistances, armor and shield, to kind of try to sustain a little bit through these fights, but he went for that very early tension bow, so he's wanting to have as much early game pressure as possible, being able to try to get in there, get the damage done, and then get himself back out with those resistances that he does have. So it's just a very clear-cut, almost transparent strategy, but it's just not working out for him. You're trading 1 for 1 here and there, and you just don't want to trade 1 for 1 against the composition that you have with this Liberation X squad.
Fountain of Renewal has been completed on Black. There's already one on Mato, so they will have those up. Of course, that was buffed in patch 1.17. Quicker particles mean we're seeing more and more of those clutch fountains get into the later portions of these fights, and quite an even game thus far really here between these two teams. We see as soon as that Catherine starts to get towards level 6, they have the Blast Tremor, and that's really where Liberation X's team composition is going to come online. If they can get that down on the Dragon's Breath, or perhaps on the Arden as he tries to get that Gauntlet down, it's going to be very, very powerful. You can really shut out Scarves from fights if you get the Silence positioned correctly against them.
Yeah, but you do have that early reflex block available coming out of Inane, so he's predicting this strategy. You also have a very telegraphed engage with Marto and this Catherine. So if Inane is able to very successfully predict when this engage is going to happen and can have the reflexes to use that reflex block appropriately, then it might not necessarily be an issue. But the question is going to become, how is that positioning going to happen in the team fights once things start getting dirty, things start getting crazy? Because you have the deep diver in Big Paws, as well as everything that Blair Kid can bring to the table. So it's really going to be up to Inane to position himself correctly and really try to create an impact in these fights.
Definitely looking to try and have the impacts in these fights. Also, Big Paws has that weapon infusion build up. The payout will go across towards Phoenix Rising, and there is the death from above. Status Baked is going to try and get the damage down. The gauntlet's been popped here, and the rest of Liberation X are not nearby. Blairclad, the only member of Phoenix Rising to go low. Big Paws gets caught out with the afterburn, but should be able to survive this anyway. The original has to retreat. Big Paws does jump in. The turret targeting him. He should be able to get out of that turret range for now. Even with the Storm God on Martor, he won't take enough damage to go down. And again, he tries to go in onto the original. There's that Fountain of Renewal, but not going to be enough. Big Paws might get taken out. Merciless Pursuit will stun him up. One more turret shot should be enough. They will get him down, and now Blairkid has to retreat away from that turret. They get the kill. It's 3 kills for 1. And Phoenix Rising showing what they can do as they get into this middle portion of the game.
And a lot of it came through of that positioning that Innate had throughout the entirety of that fight. You're going to see a forced disengage from Status Break, using that ultimate to try to just make sure that this turret doesn't get taken. And again, Inane, that's what we talked about. That's what we needed for him to happen, for them to win these team fights. That positioning came up strong. He was able to pull himself through. Big Paws as well, going in and getting the damage off, securing that kill really early. And here we are. We're starting to see Phoenix Rising start to have some very clear-cut decisions, start to use the synergy of their squad to their advantage, and it's created this 1,000 gold lead that they have currently.
That it has. I think a big item threshold will be that reflex block being picked up on Taka as well, because if you're jumping into the enemy team, you really need to be able to mitigate that blast tremor coming out from the Catherine, because the last thing you want is to be caught in the middle of the enemy team, silenced as well. When you've got a glaive there to afterburn you back, you've got the Merciless Pursuit coming out from the Catherine, you've got Sky there to put down a huge amount of damage as well. So the last thing you want as an aggressive Taka player is to get caught out in the middle of the enemy team.
I absolutely agree. And now that we're starting to see the gold mine as well, getting close up to that half mark, this could be an opportunity for that Liberation X squad to kind of make up the deficit that they have. If they can get a solid fight around this objective, really deter the efforts of Phoenix Rising, then an opportunity could come out of it. But you know that this is something that they're thinking about. So what is Phoenix Rise doing as a result? They're pushing up this turret. It does have a decent amount of shield, but it's only sitting at just below half HP. So they're going to be able to just focus this down almost immediately. But the fight is breaking out. Sky isn't even anywhere around.
Yeah, there's the gauntlet, and the Catherine not in a good position at all here. Mator will go down. The forward barrage comes out. It's only going to connect onto Blairkid, and there's the Dragon's Breath. It's going to get Status Baked very, very low. It's a good death from above. Will stun them up, but Big Paws is still alive in this. There's the Fountain. He won't quite survive. Even with the Fountain of Renewal, not quite enough to keep him alive under that turret, but it's a 2 kill for 1 trade for Phoenix Rising. A really nice fight by them. We see how, if Big Paws jumps in, if they land a good gauntlet, you have enough time for the Dragon Breath to get off and then start putting the damage down in these fights.
Yeah, it's a fantastic fantastic look at the synergy of the composition that they've created with that. The Blair Kids gauntlets are going to be pivotal to whether or not this team finds any kind of success, because they're going to have to make sure that that gauntlet goes down early enough to allow Innate to come in, use that Dragon's Breath to make these fights a lot more relevant and a lot more cost efficient, I guess you could say, with Big Paws diving into that back line. But they did come out ahead on that fight. They've increased their gold lead to about 3,000 now, being able to do some nice little counter jungling, steal some camps away, as well as go for that gold mine. So looking to be in a really good spot. But as I say that, Inane getting himself cut out. Look at that lifesteal.
Yeah, manages just to keep himself alive for ages in that fight. Eve of Harvest doing a great job for him. And now Big Paws has joined the fray. Gonna try and turn it onto Mator. He jumps onto the backline. Status Bait goes low. Will try and serious strike his way away, but Blacklit. There's the words. Blacklit.
Yeah.
That's the word I was going for there. Tries to keep himself alive. Spitfire comes out. Big Paws is gonna jump onto Mator as well. And now Blacklit, the front line. The original is there. The turret's still standing. It's only 8 kills to 5 in favor of Phoenix Rising here. They have to back away ever so slightly. That Tucker not quite managing to solidify themselves. Kills there. Martel will step forward. And now there's the afterburn from the original. Blair Kid should go down here as we see the kill being picked up by that Sky. And now Inane will protect Big Paws. He retreats away. That's the first kill actually on that Ardent in this game. They're going to turn onto Inane, who will try and use those sprint boots to get himself away towards safety, but Status Baked is off towards the other side, has the death from above available as well. Big Paws the target, there's the death from above, he'll dodge out from that, but we look at the damage coming down onto Inane. He pops the Dragon Spur to try and turn it around. He is onto Status Baked, but Inane does not have enough damage quite yet to take them out in this 2v3, and now Big Paws the target as well will be able to retreat. We do still see the Sky again, Status Baked picking up another kill on towards that Scarf, and they're going to take away this jungle as well.
I really like what the members of Liberation X were able to just do there, because not only do they get the shutdown gold, they're actually going to possibly be able to, no, they don't end up picking up the kill onto Blair Kid, but being able to get that extra gold income at the moment in time that we are in the game is really huge, because you're 14.5 minutes in, you've got the Kraken spawning in about 30 seconds, so they can go back, they can get some solid item buys, they can ramp themselves up. You can see no infusions, actually very surprising. They only have one CP infusion onto status base. That actually just expired as I just say that. So there's no infusion, so they decided to pump their gold into something a little bit more effective for the long term, such as their items. They've been able to get some decent power spikes. You can see this tank build coming out of Marto. The reflex block is completed as well as a lot of damage now onto the original. He's got Tornado Trigger, Sword Blade, as well as a Book of Eulogy. So a big opportunity for them to be able to strike with this Kraken now available.
Yeah, it's definitely a big opportunity for them, as you say. But the gold lead is still in favor of Phoenix Rising here. I still feel that if they get a good gauntlet down, they can win out these fights pretty easily. And Ain trying to position himself with that Dragon's Breath as well across towards the backside. They actually started up the Kraken here, even though Liberation X can spot them out. Here comes the Sky. Kraken down to about a third of HP. The gauntlet's popped and it will pop out Status Baked. Big Paws trying to jump onto him. He'll get a lot of damage down. They're going to keep chasing onto Status Baked, and that should be a dead Sky. They take him out before the fight really gets going, and now Big Paws will chase onto Marto. He pops down the Storm Guard, but that's a very dead Catherine. Now they can turn on towards that Kraken. They'll be able to take a big advantage in this game, steal away the minion mine, steal away the Kraken, and take a couple of turrets as well, probably with this Kraken push.
Blair Kid's gauntlet was absolutely flawless, because what that allowed, or what that forced Marto to do, was kind of to draw back into the side. And because Marto is building straight tank on this Catherine, the rest of the members of Phoenix Rising were able to just completely bypass her, run to the other enemy heroes, and then take down and end up coming out on top onto that fight. That's going to allow them to win that fight out. That's going to allow them now to unleash the Kraken in their favor. And with a 2,500 gold lead, very solid item buys, as well as the Kraken at their disposal, Phoenix Rising looking to be in a great spot.
Most definitely. Unleash the Kraken is what they've done. They're going to try and take these turrets with it. All of Liberation X are back up. They've popped a couple of infusions across the board as well. 2 infusions on that Glaive and 1 on the Sky as well. That Crystal Power infusion. Going to try and keep them up, but the turret is the target. They pick up 1. They're going to move forward towards the second as well. They've already got 2 turrets. And no turrets taken down in favor of Liberation X. There's the gauntlet again. It's going to pop out Marto. The stun onto Status Baked in the backline is huge. And now the Kraken focusing down that turret. The hero has gone down. And actually, Phoenix Rising managing to pick up a couple of kills here. We do see the Ardent falling, but they're going to get the turret. They're going to get a couple of kills, and they can turn as well towards perhaps even one of these Vayne turrets. The Kraken still has about a third of its HP. Even with the original alive, they should be able to get at least one of these Vayne turrets. If not 2, there's going to be about 4 seconds left on the respawns in just a minute. They're going to turn onto the original. The Kraken's still pounding away on that turret, and Big Paws is going to try and take it out as well.
Oh, they're going to get it.
We'll see. Yep, they get a second Vayne turret. They're going to go towards the Vayne Crystal as well. I'm not sure they can get this one. Death from above, but will be enough. The Vayne Crystal goes very low. There's going to be Big Paws just about surviving, and they do get the Vayne Crystal. 12 kills to 9. Phoenix Rising take the first game of this best of 3.
The ending of that game was so abrupt because of the advantages that Phoenix Rising were able to pull out of that. I love the way that they were able to understand exactly how each team fight needed to be played. Big Paws, with that item build, went for a very early spike with the tension bow, went full tank because he knew he was going to be the one diving into that backline. Blair Kid provided all of that peel, all of that zone control for Inane to just pump out as much damage. And if you look at the stat line that Phoenix Rising had, 427, 546, 338. It's not the most illustrious. It's not the craziest of stat lines, but everyone is involved in these fights. They fought these team fights as a team. They worked as a unit, and as a result, game 1 victory.
A great victory for them. We'll have to see how Liberation X decide to counter it out. Of course, they're playing for their lives. They're playing for their position in the Spring Live Championships here in NA, and at the moment, it's definitely on the line for them. We're going to pass it back across towards our analysts, Humanist and Rome. Talk us through these games.
All right, well.